I never do this with this hand. No, I'm not watching the camera. I'm watching the road. Just gotta hold it. Hopefully get most of us on the shot. Alright, here we go.
Do you want me to hold it?
She wore a Jadestone.
She wore a Jadestone around her head.
You find a Jadestone. You find the mother of pearl grapes.
Welcome to another.
Hey now, we're driving in the car. We're actually going somewhere. It's about 40 minutes away. Kim, where are we going?
Camelback Mountain.
By the way, this is my sister Kim. I've captured her for the day. I've kidnapped her. We are going to be shooting video all day and night.
In a Prius that has no air.
Yeah, the air broke this morning, unfortunately. But
So
hey,
this will be fun.
the show must go on. So what we're gonna do right now is we're going to. Do you know where we're even going? What city we're going to? No.
No.
We are going to Scottsdale.
Scottsdale.
We're going to Scottsdale. And what's in Scottsdale today waiting for us? A plethora of costumes.
Oh,
We're going to the costume shop. We're gonna pick out some costumes right now or in about an hour. And they're gonna be featured in our video tonight.
Nice. Now I'm excited.
So that's what we're doing today, or at least right now. So we'll keep you posted.
Cool.
Here we are behind the scenes on one of the shots on Jadestone. And here's Ray setting up the shot.
Hopefully.
And here's what it looks like. See if we can zoom in on that thing. Check mark, what does that mean?
I checked it where I want to.
I see. And here's what it sees. Where are you, Ray? Are you in the Old West?
I wish.
We're out here in the Old West, somewhere in Arizona.
No one knows where we are.
No one knows where we are. It's a secret location. in an old ruins where parties used to happen and old country music used to happen here. And people had dinners outside and all these tables that you can see in the background, all piled up. This was like a movie set. A ruins now. I thought still was an interesting location to do an aerial shot that would mix in with the rest of the Jadestone video. We're gonna kind of just take a look around so you can kind of see what is here, because a lot of this probably is not going to make it into the final shot. Old fireplace. There's even an old stage. Old stage was here. And then here's all the rest of the ruins. A lot of it just completely fell down. This was just an old staged, Old West kind of looking set that was used back in the 60s. And people would be bussed out here from a certain location. And they'd spend the night here. Not all night, but spend the evening here. And they'd have live music, partying, eats. They'd actually cook out here, or catered. And this was a thing to do. And this was before any houses in the background were there. This is years ago, years ago. And you got the White Tank Mountains way in the background, and they would come out here to watch the sunset. There's no sunset right now. This is morning. So this is what we're doing today. Hey now! Today we are at Surprise Park. We are right across the street from the Kansas City Royals spring training facility. Today we're going to talk about a new production I've been working on called Jadestone. This production is a new song that I've written, and it's also a music video. What I would like to show today is how we recorded it. There is actual footage of the recording taking place, and also the video production. This is a behind the scenes kind of a making of Jadestone. So sit back and relax, and here it is. Welcome to my little recording studio. What I want to show you today is just kind of how I put together a song that I just wrote. I wrote a song recently called Jadestone. And some people have asked me, hey, how did you come up with that name? Well, it's kind of interesting. One day I was just driving around and I came upon this street called Jadestone Drive. And as soon as I saw that, I thought, boom, wow, that sounds like a song title. So then I had to start thinking about that, and the days would go on and I'd get ideas, and so I finally came up with some lyrics for a song, and boom, here it is. It's all on the computer. And what I want to show you guys is kind of like how it's been put together and how do you record a song. Well, here's how it goes right here. Okay, the first thing I want to show you today is how we're going to start out the song. What do you record first? Do we sing first? Do we play guitars first? Maybe some keyboards? Or drums? Well, drums is what we're going to do first. If you have a live band, you might do them all at the same time. But today it's only me. So this is how I did it. We started with some drums, but I don't have any drums. But let me show you what I do have. Check this out. We're going to record this here. Alright, and this just goes on and on. I have isolated this so that you can only hear the drums. So how do we get those drums? Since I had mentioned I don't have any drums. I could play them if I had them. Well, not so good, but I could do it. So what did I do? Let me show you. I went to a place called looploft.com, and they have drum loops, basically, that you can buy. Loops. They start, end, start again, end. So how do we do that? Here's some of the loops that I had gotten from them. And these are just like about 4 bars. Let me show you real quick. I'm going to play a couple of these so you can see how it comes. Okay, that's just one of them. That would be like in a verse where singing's happening. Here's another one. A little bit different. We'll try one more here. And I'm going to give you one more. This will be like an intro perhaps. And what you do is you just grab these and you pop them in these little places right here. I can just pop it in here, bring it in here. Just drag it and pop it right in where I want it. Every 4 measures. Or I could take like an 8 measure, copy it, and keep doing 8 measures, and so on and so forth. And that's how you piece together the song for the drums. In this case, we've got the whole drum track. But I've got a second drum track up here at the top. Let me show you what that one does. The one at the top is there for enhancement. I wanted the kick drum, which is the one you hit with your foot, to be more boom, a little bit more heavy. Boom, boom, pounding. So I added this track to the drum track. And here's what that one sounds like all by itself. And then it just hits. These hits are just added on top of the regular drums. And here they come in right here. Alright, so that's what we did. That's how we got the drums. I put them all together and that became the drum track. When I was all finished, I still felt there was just something missing. Listen to the beginning. That's how it starts. One more time. It didn't really come in. There was no crashing in or just a... So I added this one crash here, a cymbal crash. And so let's show you that. Here's what I added in. Just simple crash. I have a drum computer over here and I just hit the cymbal crash. So now let's add the cymbal crash into everything and see what it sounds like. One more time. Alright, you got the idea. So now pretty much that's our whole drum. It's all there, it's all in sequence, and it's ready to go. Next, we lay down a guitar track. So I grab my guitar and we start going. And here's how it goes. Okay, I've got my guitar on now and I'm ready to record a track. First, you got to plug it in. What am I going to plug it into? I can't really plug it into the computer, not the speaker. Where do I go? Well, right here. Into the Scarlett. It's got 4 inputs. I can plug in a guitar 1/4-inch cable or XLR microphone cable. So we're going to plug that guitar in right now. And there it is. You can kind of hear it. Okay, now that our guitar is plugged in and ready to go, we're going to go ahead and record our first track along with the drum track that you've already heard. And here's how it goes. Now, we've laid down one track, which is great, but we're going to make it more full sounding. So what I want to do is I'm going to take and switch it to another guitar track, a second one, and I'm going to play the exact same riff again. And this is going to double it, so now it's going to sound like two guitar players. And when we do that, it's going to sound like this. Okay, now I've switched to the bass guitar, and now we're going to go ahead and add a bass guitar track to the existing drums and the two other guitar tracks that we've already laid down. And so we change it again to another track, and we're going to record that. And here's how that goes. Okay, so now we have two guitar tracks laid down and a bass track plus the drum tracks. So let's take a listen. Let's kind of see what do we have here now. Let's start from the beginning. Go. Whoops. Wait a minute. All right. Go. If we want to listen to only one of the tracks, we can solo that track, like the bass, for example. Let me show you. Now we're listening only to the bass. So now if we want to hear one of the guitars, we do the same thing. Now we'll add the second guitar. We can even put just the bass in there. We can use the sliders to lower the volume. Take off the solos and we'll hear all the drums again. Alright, so the next thing to do is we can add some more instruments. In this case, there's actually still a little more to go. I'm going to grab my acoustic guitar and we're going to add some acoustic guitar tracks. Alright, I've got my acoustic guitar ready and now we're going to add an acoustic guitar track. And here's how that goes. Alrighty, now it's time to sing the words. We're going to add the vocal track to the previous tracks that we've just recorded. So, here we go.
She wore a jadestone. She wore a jadestone around her hip. You find that jadestone. You find the mother of pearl grips. It was a Monday evening when I woke up in my cell. I guess the weekend didn't go so well. The marshal asked me if I remember my trail, and he told me I was being held with no bail. I said, Marshal, Marshal, what had I done? He says, wanted to know, where was the gun? She said, you got Mary Jane and you shot Betty Lou. Boy, do you know the trouble you got yourself into? She wore a jadestone. She wore a jadestone around her hip. You find that jadestone. You find the mother of pearl grips.
Okay, now the vocals were done, and I've done a couple different tracks of vocals as well, so that we can go back and forth and use the best ones, or maybe put them both together, melt them together, make a fuller sound. So let's check it out. Let's see what we've got so far. And here we go. Some of the other tracks have already been done. We've done the music tracks, we've done some of the main vocal tracks, but now we're going to do some harmony tracks. So here's what it sounds like. We're going to do it right now. Jadestone. She wore a jadestone around her hip. Jadestone. You find the mother of pearl grips. Ah. Ah. That is where she got it from. Jadestone. She wore a jadestone around her hip. Jadestone. You find the mother of pearl grips. Package pretty for you.
Work with the talent, will you?
These talents are so damn demanding. Sure it is. Alright, can you hear anything? Is it working?
Okay. Jadestone.
There you go.
She wore a jadestone around her head. You find that jadestone. You find the mother of pearl grapes.
It was a Monday evening when I woke up in my cell. I guess the weekend didn't go so well. Around the marshal watched me. If I remember my trail, and told me I was being held with no veil. I said, Marshal, Marshal, what had I done?
Ah, ah, ah.
Shot Mary Jane,
Ah,
shot Mary Lou,
ah. I'm done.
Alright, here we go. Give it all you got.
Jadestone. She wore a jadestone around her hip. You find that jadestone. You find the mother of pearl grapes.
Alright, ready?
Yeah. This is like action.
1, 2, here we go.
Woo!
she tricked me with sin. She knocked me out cold.
Ah,
My own gun.
ah, ah.
That is where she got it from.
Alright, you're gonna do that one now.
I know.
Ready?
It's tough, man. It's tough today. Go ahead.
Alright, ready? Here
Yeah.
we go.
That is where.
Right there.
Where?
That is where.
Oh, right. I'm just singing what you're singing, right?
Yeah. Ready?
Yeah.
Here we go.
Marshal, Marshal.
That is where she got it from. She wore a jadestone. She wore a jadestone around her hip. You find that jadestone. You find the mother of pearl grapes.
Alright, good. Let's do it one more time for the second track. You ready?
Yep.
Here we go.
Marshal, Marshal.
That is where she got it from. She wore a jadestone. She wore a jadestone around her hip. You find that jadestone. You find the mother of pearl grapes.
Alright, do you remember the harmony?
Which part for the jadestone?
Right there, yeah.
What is it?
Jadestone.
I'll try it. Yeah.
Alright, ready? Alright, let's try that. Alright, you ready for the harmony?
Sure.
Here we go.
Marshal, Marshal.
That is where she got it from. She wore a jadestone. She wore a jadestone around her hip. You'll find that jadestone. You'll find the mother of pearl grapes.
Alright, good. One more. Ready? Do the harmony for the first one, too.
Okay.
Alright, here we go.
Marshal, Marshal.
That is where she got it from. She wore a jadestone. She wore a jadestone around her hip. You find that jadestone. You find the mother of pearl grapes.
Alright, good. Now we're gonna do the most interesting part in the world.
Uh-oh.
No veil. I said, Marshal, Marshal.
Ah.
Alright, right there. You ready for that?
Oh man. Yeah.
No veil.
Move over.
Oh yeah. This is the fun part.
Hold on, just keep rolling, everybody.
Keep rolling. Hey, crank the air down one. The talent is hot.
Yes, she is.
Okay, now I can be.
Oh, the loser socks.
You lost your socks? All right, ready?
Yeah.
Alright, now do you remember the harmony to that?
Yeah.
What was it? Okay, alright, let's do that now. Go. Alright, here we
Wait,
go.
what am I doing now? What part?
Coming.
That's what I'm doing?
Yeah.
Alright.
Alright, here we go.
In the dancing parade.
Alright, that's good. That's it. Thank you, Ray. Now, one more time on that. Do the backup harmony.
Yeah.
Here we go.
She wore a
I
jade stone.
heard a little miss up there.
I did.
We need to redo it.
Take
Alright, try it
17.
again. Take 2.
She wore a jade stone. She wore a jade stone around her hip. You find that jade stone. You'll find the mother of pearl drips.
Alright, that's it. That's a wrap.
Drips.
Big old
Woo! Woo!
Alright, that's it.
My voice is shot, man.
What I'd like to show you now are all the different parts of the recordings. We've made the recording, we've laid down all the tracks, so I want to show you what they look like or perhaps even sound like. So as we flip through the screen, we can see all the audio, the WAV files on everything that we recorded. We have many tracks. So I'm going to kind of show you how we layered them down. First, I'm going to bring up the mixing board. So I'm going to solo out some of these things. The first thing I want to show you is the drum track. So we're listening to the drum track right now, only that. This one right here. Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that out and show you another drum track that I have recorded. You'll notice just a kick drum, boom, boom. This is going to give it some depth when we add it to the drum track. I'll take it out. You may not be able to hear the difference, but here we go. Out. In. Alright, so that's that. So the drums were put down. Next we laid down with some guitars. So I'm going to go ahead and let's listen to one track of a guitar. It's working in the background. We're waiting for the guitar to kick in. There we go. We got a guitar coming out of this speaker only, the left side only. We have two guitar tracks, one for left, one for right side. So I'm going to wait a moment here till I come back in. Alright, now I'm going to pop in the second track and we'll make a fuller sound. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Now we're listening to 2 guitar tracks. Okay, so that's what we did with that. It's the same guitar part, just recorded twice. So what I want to show you next is the acoustic guitar track. We also recorded an acoustical guitar. Alright, I just sped it up a little bit so I don't have to wait all this blank space. Again, I'm going to solo out one track of the acoustic guitar because we also recorded that twice. Exact same part, 2 times on 2 different tracks, and then separated them to left and right. Here's one guitar, only one acoustic track. Here's the second one. Okay, there's some flange or chorus added on that as well, you might hear. So that's just the acoustic guitar part. Now let's add the acoustic and the guitar parts together, and here's what you got. So now what I want to do is I want to show you the bass guitar. We did a bass guitar track, only one of those, and here's what that sounds like by itself. So now let's add that in to the other guitar tracks that we've already shown you. Here we go. The drums in just to hear all that as well. Alright, so now that's the core of the music. Now we have a lot of vocal tracks. So here's our main vocals. Let's see how that sounds by itself.
Jadestone, she wore her jadestone around her hip. You find that jadestone, you find the mother of pearl grips.
Alright, what I did on this is I took the vocal track and I didn't sing it twice, but what I did is I copied it. I copied the exact track into 2 different tracks, and the reason is there's, as you can see there's echo on the voice, and then the second copy doesn't have echo on it. It's got more of a slight reverb on it, and I'll show you what that sounds like. Maybe.
She wore her jadestone around her hip. You find that jadestone, you find the mother of pearl grips.
Alright, and the reason for that is in the final mix of the song, it jumps back and forth between different lines. So you'll notice some lines have a little echo on it, and then all of a sudden the echo disappears. And it's just a nice straight vocal. And then sometimes to emphasize something, a slight echo will be on the voice only for a moment, and then it comes back again and goes away to the regular straight voice, maybe with a little bit of reverb on it. So that's what we did. I did that to be able to go back and forth where I chose. Alright, then after that we have backup vocals, and I have them in a group. So there's 4, I don't know if you can see that, there's 4 together, so whatever I click on, the solo button, they all click on and off. Let's see if we can hear that.
Jadestone.
Alright, I'm going to try to show you only, I can't because I had to keep them separate. Alright, so here we go, they're all together. These are just the backing tracks that I did alone.
Jadestone, she wore a jadestone around her hip. You find that jadestone, you find the mother of pearl grips.
Alright, so I'm going to shut that off, and now we're going to go to the second set of background vocals. and this was Kim. These are all set as an 8. She's got 8 tracks of what you're going to hear right now. And you might say, why? Why so many? Each one was done separately, was recorded on its own. Okay, here's one track of Kim's vocals by itself.
Jadestone, she wore a jadestone around her hip. You find that jadestone, you find the mother of pearl grips.
So now I'm going to click a second track, and we're going to listen to that. Now these are just 2 of the same thing together.
Jadestone, she wore a jadestone around her hip. You find that jade.
Okay, I'm going to stop that, and then what we did it 2 more times to give it a lot of fullness. So here's all 4 of the tracks, the exact same part.
Jadestone, she wore a jadestone around her hip.
It's also separated into stereo.
You find that jadestone.
Alright, so there's that. Now we also have the harmony to that. So here's one track of harmony, Kim again.
Jadestone, she wore a jadestone around her hip. You find that jadestone, you find the mother of pearl grips.
I'm going to do that again. I'm going to add another one to that just so you can hear it get a little bit more fuller.
Jadestone, she wore a jadestone around her hip.
Now here's the other 3 and 4.
You find that jadestone, you find the mother of pearl grips.
Alright, so that's 4 times on that harmony. Now I'm going to do one other thing. I'm going to show you just one track each of both of the harmonies together. And here's what only one track of each sounds like.
Jadestone, she wore a jadestone around her hip. You find that jadestone, you find the mother of pearl grips.
So now, all 8 tracks together, here's what we got.
Jadestone, she wore a jadestone around her hip. You find that jadestone, you find the mother of pearl grips.
Alright, so that's the chorus part. And now we also have another part of vocal tracks that are it's in the song where Kim and I together sang some parts, kind of stuff. So now I'm going to show you that. And again, I'm going to do it the same way. I'm just going to show you one track first. This is me and Kim together on one track, singing at the same time. Alright, and now here I'll add a second one. Alright, hold on, that track has some effect on it. Let's take that off. Let's try this. Oh, so does that one. And now here are, again, we did a total of 8, each one done separately. 4 in one part of the harmony and 4 in the second part of the harmony. Here's all of the first 4 together. Alright, here's one track of the harmony part. Alright, one more time, just a little bit. I want to see if I can find one without the effect on it. There, this is without any effects. Alright, now all 4 parts. of the other harmony. Alright, one more time. Now we're going to add the other four and get the full harmony. Now we're going to do one other thing. Now I'm going to put all of the vocals in. I'm going to let that play just a little bit for you with vocals only.
She wore a jadestone. She wore a jadestone around her hip. You find that jadestone. You find the mother of pearl grips. It was a Monday evening when I woke up in my cell. I guess the weekend didn't go so well. The marshal asked me if I remember my trail and told me I was being held with no bail. I said, oh, Marshal, Marshal, what had I done? He just wanted to know, where was the gun? He said, you shot Mary Jane, and you shot Betty Lou. Boy, do you know the trouble you got yourself into? She wore a jadestone. She wore a jadestone around her hip. You find that jadestone. You find the mother of pearl grips.
And that's it. That's the vocals. That's all vocal tracks. Now, one last thing. We turn everything back on and you'll get the full mix. So I'm going to have to turn off all these solos. Off, off, off. And then the final song. All tracks.
She wore a jadestone. She wore a jadestone around her hip. You find that. She wore a jadestone. She wore a jadestone around her hip. You find that jadestone. You find the mother
Well, here's an interesting section of the video. We are now going to show a little bit of the making of video. What does that mean? It means I'm actually putting together the making of video right now. And we've got, there's so many edits and things and shots and all kinds of stuff. It's more of a special somehow. So, but what I'm showing you right now is I'm in the middle of doing voiceovers. Why? Because I shot some scenes outside of Surprise Park, or in Surprise Park. And it was windy, and the audio was absolutely horrible. Wind noises just all over the microphone. So what we're going to see right now is I'm actually doing voiceovers. In other words, I'm redoing the whole voice, the whole audio part of it. So you can kind of watch how that works. You're going to hear me repeat the same line over and over and over and over again. And what I'm doing is I'm getting the timing right of my lips that are already on screen. I need to get it exactly right to move on. It's going to be just little sections at a time. So here's what I'm doing right now. First, I'm just going to be listening, so you're probably not going to hear much. So sit back and relax, and here it is. So sit back and relax, and here it is. So sit back and relax, and here it is. And here it is. So sit back and relax, and here it is. Now I'm going to take my original voice out of it so I can hear it with only my voice. You guys can't hear this. Alright, I did it. It's done. The making of the making of.